downtown where you can get a date for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Isis Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Isis Dark Incubus at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue. There's been a lot of chatter on social media like TikTok regarding the South Korean 4B movement. Now, many on social media like TikTok want people to believe that the 4B movement in South Korea has gained lots of traction and is extremely popular with Asian women and is one of the reasons why many South Korean women are not interested in having relationships with men. Now, this 4B movement, which originated in South Korea in 2019, is supposed to be about women having 4 no's, and these 4 no's that they're going to have regarding men are not having sex with men, not rearing the children of men, not dating men, and not marrying men. Now, this whole 4B movement is very similar to the men going their own way movement in the West and radical feminism. And what they want to do with this 4B movement is you have people on social media looking to create a narrative around this 4B movement, which has been around for 5 years and has really not gotten much traction as related to getting more people talking about it or participating in it. And as this 4B movement has been pushed on platforms like TikTok, you have people on social media in the West talking more about it than what's going on as related to life in South Korea. Now, this 4B movement basically is being pushed on social media primarily by feminists in the West, and these feminists in the West are basically pushing the 4B movement mainly because most of the feminists in the West are fearing competition from South Korean women. And like what they did to black women in America, what they want to do is rally all of these Asian women to try to bolster the numbers of white feminists who have basically lost a lot of support and favor in the West due to movements like the Me Too movement basically destroying the entire social marketplace. Now, many of these Western feminists, especially white feminist females, know that the social marketplace for them has been turned into ruins due to the disaster known as the Me Too movement. And as the Me Too movement made the environment for social interactions between men and women extremely hostile in America and the West, it made it where most men basically would not want to have any sort of social interaction with any Western woman because any social interaction with a Western woman could possibly cost a man his professional reputation, his personal reputation, and in extreme cases, even cost him his job and his freedom. And because many men need their jobs for their survival in the American economy, most men began to cut off all contact with most Western women due to the fact that we have legal precedent established by the verdicts of Bill Cosby back in 2018 and as related to taking away most of men's rights when we went from a standard of rule of law to trust and believe, and that standard was further reinforced as related to the case of Jonathan Majors in this year after he was convicted of domestic violence, and with the standard of trust and belief still the law of the land in the United States and the West, many Western men basically want nothing to do with Western women because they fear that they would possibly wind up losing everything as related to their economic survival, because a man needs a job in order to survive. He needs to have a professional and personal reputation that is of good character. And the scary part is that a woman can simply make an allegation and basically destroy that man's entire life. So many Western women know that they basically wound up screwing up the entire Western social marketplace. And as they have screwed up the entire Western social marketplace, they fear that many Western men will look to seek out relationships with women abroad. And what they want to do is look to try to taint those social marketplaces by looking to start rumors and gossip in these foreign social marketplaces by creating this gossip and rumors, hoping to discourage Western men from looking to pursue relationships with Asian women in countries like South Korea. That's the reason why we see all of these Western women talking about the 4B movement. Again, a movement that did not gain any traction, because if it were to have gained traction, groups like the Manosphere and many of the men going their own way movements would have been talking about this 4B movement in YouTube videos as far back as 2019, and the silence of many of those men going their own way and those in the Manosphere shows how this movement gained absolutely no traction at all, because you would have seen hundreds of videos talking about the 4B movement, but the 4B movement went nowhere, just like the black women going their own way movement went absolutely nowhere. And the main reason why both of those movements went nowhere is because when it comes to most women know that they get their needs met by men. They know that they get provided for by men. And if you go out here and talk about going your own way and be on your own, like many radical feminists propose, you will find yourself with absolutely no support and be on your own like many of the feminist indoctrinated black women who are basically at the bottom of the social marketplace because they listen to radical white feminists. And many of these feminists, again, are at the bottom of the social marketplace. And in the social marketplace, what the feminists want to do with this whole 4B rumor is what they want to do is eliminate their Asian competition the same way they eliminated their black competition in the 1960s and 1970s. Because this whole rumor and gossip, this is all about looking to eliminate female competition in a imploded Western marketplace, social marketplace, because they know that the whole Western social marketplace has completely collapsed, and the ability to get resources from men in the West has completely imploded. So what they want to do is look to eliminate competition, hoping that Western men, once they hear that there's a 4B movement, will go over to the West and look to try to deal with a group of women who have been indoctrinated into feminism and look to try to submit to a group of very misandristic policies and court interpretations of law that make it an extremely hostile environment for most Western men. Because most Western men basically know that the entire whole social marketplace is in ruins, and they know that there's not many options, because when it comes to the entire gynocentric system, they have no support. And since they have no support, you have more men looking to leave the social marketplace, and many women scrambling, looking for some way to get men back to the table to take a bad deal, but nobody's taking the bad deal at all. So what they're looking to do is fabricate a narrative regarding South Korean women, a narrative that most South Korean women don't know about and don't care about, because the main reason why many South Korean women are not looking to get married or have children at this point is really due to economics, because when it comes to most South Korean women, like Western women here in America, most women just can't really afford to get married or have children, and they can't afford to get married because salaries in South Korea don't really pay like they used to, just like they don't pay here in America. However, that's not stopping many of the gossip mongers on social media platforms from looking to start these rumors and this gossip, and looking to start these rumors and this gossip, hoping to get a lot of Asian women scared about a movement that they know has no traction and is barely a blip on the radar of their country, and barely a blip on the radar of most of the West at all. Because, again, if this movement had traction since 2019, I know that I possibly would have been hearing from many of the men going their own way when they were on YouTube, and many of the manosphere types talking about this movement, but you didn't hear a single one of these individuals talking about this at all. No, you never heard any of them talking about it, and that shows you how little traction this has. Now, this whole situation with this 4B movement shows why you have to do your research, and you have to do your research because when it comes to social media, there are some people out here who are not very ethical, and because they're not very ethical, they'll go out here and fabricate a story in order for it to get traction on social media, but there won't be anything substantive to substantiate it. And this is something I've learned from doing research for years. I remember when somebody put up an article saying, oh, Jada Pinkett said that white supremacy was the reason why her Cleopatra documentary failed. And when I did further research, I found no other sources to verify this at all. No, when I did my research, what I found was that there was no information to substantiate any of this at all, and that the person writing this article basically fabricated this entire story, and that the website that published this misinformation basically published this misinformation because what they wanted to do was get a buzz over something Jada Pinkett never said at all. Moreover, you have lots of other people, again, fabricating stories, and that's why you have to be very careful about the information you get out here, because there's a lot of misinformation, and you need to go check your sources in order to get accurate information, because even on this information superhighway, you have a lot of people presenting opinions as news and opinion as facts, but opinions are not news and are not facts, and you have to check your information to make sure it's accurate. And that's one of the things I try to do with every video I do. I try to substantiate that information with credible sources, because if you're going to report on things, you need to have information that is accurate and on point, because the whole thing is misinformation can mislead people, and that's what these gossip mongers wanted to do as related to the ongoing gender wars. They wanted to go out here and present misinformation, and they wanted to eliminate female competition in the social marketplace, because they know that their social status basically is at a rock bottom point, because most Western men don't want to get involved, especially with American women, because getting involved with an American woman can cost a man too much. I mean, just simply an allegation can cost a man his job, an allegation can cost a man his professional reputation, an allegation can cost a man his freedom. I mean, an allegation can basically destroy a man's life and make it where a man in America and the West can't have anything to build as related to a life. So that's the reason why many Western men are avoiding Western women, and many Western men are avoiding Western women because they don't want to wind up in jail because he didn't take her to the right restaurant, or he winds up getting jammed up in some sort of way. So that's why the Western man is looking to explore international options and looking to use his passport to travel overseas in some cases, and others are just looking to walk away from the social marketplace. And as the social marketplace has imploded, we have people looking to start rumors and gossip. Again, looking to start these rumors and gossip because they know that their prospects are slim to none, and they may be on a road to bust downtown because if you've got a high body count, you've got a bad attitude, and you're just rude and disrespectful, your prospects in the social marketplace are becoming slim to none, and many men would rather be with none than deal with the slim options of finding a viable partner. That's what's happened in our imploded social marketplace that has many women desperate to the point where they're looking to try to lie on the reputations of foreign women. That's what's happening here as related to this whole rumor. And again, I am not a supporter of any sort of passport bro movements, but when I look at this, it just shows how desperate the Western woman is, and desperate because she knows her options are dwindling, and she's basically ruined her chances of ever getting in a relationship or ever getting married. She's basically listened to this radical white feminist who basically told her all of these lies, and as she sees the truth about her prospects, she sees that her prospects are slim and basically about to be none. She's basically done herself in at this point, so now she's taken to lying about South Korean women. And again, this lie is one that's easily debunked once you do some basic research or basically ask some Korean women who follow, again, family traditions. In many cases, if they want to get married, they follow the traditions of family. So what they want to do is, again, try to demonize the Asian woman the same way they demonize the black woman. But this time, the narrative isn't sticking because many Asian women want white men in some cases, and they see themselves as a viable option to white men who see that their options are not viable with white or any Western woman. So this whole narrative about the 4B movement is just complete BS, and it's complete BS that's easily debunked. So when I hear people talking about a 4B movement, again, the facts just aren't there, and you have to do your research before you start taking all of these narratives that you see on places like TikTok, because these narratives are not real, and you have to do your research and do your due diligence so that you don't wind up getting misinformed by this dysfunctional misinformation. Now, if you want to learn why so many Western women wound up in this road where their social marketplace collapsed, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Woman Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target. And if you want to learn why so many black women wound up becoming a majority single, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Why 70% of Black Women Are Single at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the entire whole social marketplace, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft to Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.